Hi, thanks for joining me for this week's quick business tip. Today, we're going to talk about the secret sauce to building a sustainable, scalable, and thriving business. This is not going to be ads or social media or even creating your own podcast and video series. What we're going to talk about today is really finding the power in your email list or your email database. Now, if you're thinking, yep, have one, not really sure what to do with it, this episode is for you. We're going to go far beyond just collecting email addresses or having an organized database of past and current clients or leads. We're going to talk about unlocking the real power behind this list and how to nurture these relationships along through an automated email sequence and turn them into high paying, loyal customers and raving fans. Now, we've all heard about email marketing. You may have even bought into the myth that email marketing is dead, it's ineffective, email just goes to spam. These things are not true. There is so much money in your email list. But if you're not using it right, that list is going to feel like the Sahara Desert. Like there is nothing living in that database. And if you're feeling this way, you're not alone. It's okay. We're going to walk you through it so that we can just bring rain to that desert and bring some new business into your company. Now, a lot of people take their email lists and they do this super inconsistent sort of spray and pray technique. So they start sending random email blasts to their entire list super inconsistently. You might get, a couple one week and then crickets for the next 6 months. So this is not a strategy. This is oftentimes used when they're trying to do a profit push or when they have a special or a new service, or maybe even when things are just slow in the business. And so they have a little extra time and they're like, oh, let me write some emails. This is not the time to be using your email list. You really want to have a strategy, one that's completely planned out and one that really brings everyone in your list along a journey. Now, the second way that a lot of people use their email list is they turn it into a newsletter. So newsletters just like paint this picture of a super boring, completely impersonal email that adds zero value to the reader's life. A lot of realtors will send out monthly newsletters. And number one, monthly is far too inconsistently to be sending to really remain top of mind. And number two, this newsletter is often mass produced for thousands and thousands of realtors. And they might be pulling like local events or, talking about, home maintenance tips or something. But when it just feels like there's no personal touch, there's no heart and soul in the email, it's going to end up in the junk. The third way that people use their database is to not send anything at all because they are afraid of feeling sleazy and slimy and spammy. And they feel like, these people know about me, they know about my business, they know the services that I offer. And when they are ready to buy, they will come to me. This is a lie. There are so many people who maybe they do know you, they know what you do, but maybe they've forgotten about you, or maybe they're just too busy. And if you are not top of mind for them, They are never going to take this action to come back to you, to set up that connect call, to set up the sales call, to take that next step in this customer journey. And if you don't make this super easy for them, for example, sending them an email once a week, adding value to their life, and then giving them some action that they can take that's super simple. Reply to this email and we'll set up a call. Reply to this email and I'll send you this resource. Click on this link. Like, just make it super easy so they're not having to dig up your contact information, try to remember what your website is, or God forbid, figure out what your phone number is. Because I don't know about you guys, but when I was in like fifth grade, I knew every single phone number of every kid in my class. We would call each other all the time. We never had any phone numbers written down. This was just like a thing that this was like a superpower that everybody had. I can barely remember my boyfriend's phone number at this point. So I don't know what happened, but if you are expecting me to find your contact information and reach out to you to do business with you, it's just not going to happen. And emails don't have to be spammy and slimy and sleazy and salesy. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my first attempt at an email list. I fell into the newsletter graveyard kind of scenario. I would send out these super long emails that, it took me hours to format and add graphics and columns. And I just had like all these different sections in it. I mean, I really spent a lot of time on this, and I would send it out once a month. And even though this was 20 years ago, um, this still just, even though everybody was doing it then, it was never the right thing. Um, I thought some of the information was interesting and helpful, but clearly none of my clients did because I really didn't get much of a response. Once I started being super clear, super concise, and keeping my messaging real simple, and short and sweet. And then also segmenting my database, depending on the areas of interest of my audience, whether they had bought or hadn't bought, maybe even what lead magnet they came into my ecosystem in. Um, this was when I really started seeing a difference. My emails have no graphics, no banners. Some of them have a link to click, a lot of them don't. Most of the emails that I send to my database are very high value. I mean, if you sort of collect all of my nurture emails over the course of a year or two, you pretty much know most of the frameworks that I use for my clients. And the reason that I'm not afraid to send those out free of charge is because most people, one, just don't have the wherewithal to implement these steps in the right order on their own without any accountability. And two, even if you are one of those people that you're just going to take everything that I've offered and implement it on your own and, just grow a thriving business, that's fantastic because there's 100 other people that are exactly the opposite of you. And those are my clients. If you want to like learn all this stuff on your own and do it on your own, more power to you. That's fantastic. You're not my perfect client. I am looking for someone who wants to live in their zone of genius, do that thing that they are so passionate about and called to do, and let me manage the marketing for them. So let's talk about taking your email list and turning it into a community of high paying clients, raving fans, and super engaged referral partners. So, the first thing that you need to do with your email database is you need to divide it up into different segments. This is where Like, this is where you decide whether you're going to use, I don't know, kerosene to run your car or like jet fuel to run your car. Okay. This is where so much of your database power comes from because not everyone who is on your email list is at the same stage. So you need to divide this list into segments based on their interests, their needs, where they are in their sales journey, and how they came into your environment. I mean, there's so many different areas that you can segment it into. You really kind of need to have a clear strategy in place and really think this all the way through. The second thing that you need to do with your email list is not just talk about your services, not just talk about sales or pricing or buy now. You want to talk about your own story, your own journey, results that you've gotten for your clients, struggles that you've been through with your own business. Be vulnerable and give people the opportunity to connect with you on a deeper level and really build that trust with your email list so that they feel like, okay, she's honest, she's trustworthy, she's been doing this for a while, she has experience, and I believe that she can help me with the problem that I have. The third thing that you need to think about when you're building an email database nurture sequence is value. What is it that your perfect client really wants from you? What are they going to see as a high value incentive to open your emails, read your emails, like keep you coming into their inbox? So you want to give out free resources, valuable tips, step-by-step plans, or even access to like exclusive video content or audio content that really leans in to that acute pain that they are having that you can solve. And you need to make sure that you have a welcome sequence. So when someone signs up through any one of your lead magnets, you want them to feel welcome and not just like dumped into this weird sequence where they don't get any kind of introduction. So if somebody comes to me from a lead magnet, they go into a little bit of an introductory sequence. Then, based on their actions, responses, and things like that, while they're in that sequence, then I move them into a different segment with a different sequence, depending on where they are in the customer journey, what pain point they have indicated to me that they are having. And this does not have to happen on a connect call or anything else. If you create your welcome sequence in a well thought out fashion, you can garner so much information just by the actions that your recipient is taking while they are going through that sequence. And the last tip I have for you is to mix it up. So you for sure want to have that value add educational emails in your sequence. You want to have the personal stories. You want to have the client wins. You absolutely want to be making offers to connect or to buy now. And, throw in a few stories or photos or videos of some behind the scenes stuff where they get to see how you work, especially if you are a business that has a lot of visuals that you can sort of work with a remodeling company, and going behind the scenes with them is so much fun. Okay, so what happens after you've nurtured them along? You've taken them on this journey, you've built their trust, they know you, they like you. What's next? Like, you can just pour into them and give them value for years and years to come. But you are doing this and investing all this time and money into this process for a reason. And that reason is to either convert them into a client or to turn them into a referral partner. So you need to not be afraid to go ahead and make those offers, promote your services, um, talk about what problem you solve. Not so much like I have this program and you get, 2 one-on-one meetings with me every month and you get this and this and this, and that's not what they want. They want to know, what problem is this? How is this going to make my life better? So throw those all of the time into the PSs, or, just like it's sort of, hey, if you're having some problems or questions, if you need some help through this process, schedule a call with me, right? Another way that you can sell without selling is by sharing the client wins. So if you have a testimonial from a client that is like amazing, they're telling a story, they're using their own words, they're clearly defining the problem that they came to you with and how you solve that problem for them. Those are the ones that you want to be sending in your email. It's called social proof. Everyone loves it. And even though we all know that you are only emailing the testimonials that are raving reviews, it's still nice to hear in someone else's words what you provided for them. If you are needing an immediate profit push, you can create urgency by adding bonuses, values. You can do discounts. I don't like to, simply because people that buy when there's a discount tend to only buy when there's a discount. And unless your perfect ideal client is the one that's only buying when you're putting things on sale, then you probably just want to stay away from putting things on sale at all. But you can add a bonus. If you buy in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to throw in a VIP day. If you buy in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to throw in this video series that you can only get, through this offer. Um, and the last thing that really helps as you're, creating these different email sequences is to add that personal touch. So, of course, you want to respond when someone replies to you. Make sure that the email address that is sending these emails in your CRM is actually one that's being checked. You want to engage in the conversations. You are trying not just to make sales, but you are trying to build relationships with people in your network. Your email list is one of the few areas that is a point of contact with your clients that you actually own. You don't own Facebook, not the DMs, not the posts, not the comments, not anything. You don't own any part of Instagram. Own you don't own you own your website and you own your email list. That's it. Everything else is rented space on somebody else's platform, and it can be shut down at any time. So you really want to take everything that you're doing on social media, everything that you're doing on in-person networking groups, and you want to move those people into your website or your email list. Ideally, both. So don't forget that your email list is a goldmine. It is the superpower that can increase profits in your business in a way that nothing else can. It is a huge database of potential clients that are just waiting for you to tell them what they need to do to solve their problem. So it's really time to consider throwing away this mass marketing, one size fits all newsletter solution and instead create a segmented, thoroughly thought out email nurture sequence for multiple areas of your business. Now, if this sounds a little bit overwhelming, or you need help with the first step in the process, which is the lead magnet that gets people on your email list, um, I can do that. So I have free guides. I have all kinds of free offerings that I can give you, whether they're videos or worksheets. Just schedule a call with me. We'll walk through what's missing and create a plan for you. Whether that's, this is something that you really need to work on your own for a little while until we can boost your revenue enough that it makes sense for you to work with me. Or if you're ready to just jump into having somebody really thoughtfully plan out and create and then implement your email nurture campaign. Um, Use the link below to schedule a connect call with me, and I will see you next week on Quick Business Tips. I'm Jennifer with Limitless Impact Agency.